the alleged criminal syndicate of the former Buffer Stock CEO, Abdul Hanan Wahab. Now, breaking down details of an alleged 40 million cedis loot by the former administration's appointee, Attorney General Dr. Dominic Ayine says he is indeed filing formal charges against the former Buffer Stock CEO on Friday. That's just a day after tomorrow. Now, give a breakdown of this. We're going to show you the visual representation of it. Dennis Babewodamespa is going to be joining me in a bit as we break it down for you and step by step the graphical representation of how exactly, according to the Attorney General, this alleged criminal syndicate took place. And this is what he said earlier today. Take a look.
In the period between 2017 and 2024, Mr. Abdul Wahab, in concert with Richard Samasanti and Bismarck Owusu-Boakye, orchestrated a transfer of 78,269,084 Ghana cedis and 4 pesos from the bank accounts of Buffer Stock Company to a private company linked to Hanan Abdul Wahab, his wife, and staff of Buffer Stock at Republic Bank and EcoBank. We have decided to charge Mr. Hanan Abdul Wahab and his wife, Faiza Seydou Wuni, with stealing, conspiracy to steal, causing financial loss to the state, using public office for profit, obtaining public property by false statements, and money laundering. We have frozen all the assets of Hanan that I have listed, including a 10 million Ghana cedis fixed deposit account at Republic Bank, Labone branch. That is the liquid assets. They also, had a lot of bags. I didn't want to list them. The wife has over 61 luxury bags. All right, name them. He himself was buying watches, some costing as much as 1.5 million Ghana cedis and so on. We have taken note of all of them, and so we've done the freezing, including those of the vehicle.
Well, so that's the Attorney General in there. Some of the detail that he gave in there and this alleged syndicate was quite shocking, and indeed it got a number of reactions. But then again, Dennis Babewodamespa is joining me right now. If you recall, Dennis, if a little over a month ago, the Buffer Stock former CEO was in the coolest of Iyoko for a number of days.
Yes.
With some
it was in respect of this same matter, actually.
So Iyoko has done the investigation, provided the Attorney General with this detail that he put out earlier today.
Precisely.
What more do we know?
And that's what you hear the Attorney General refer to, that investigation by Iyoko. He did indicate that around that time, the estimated money was in the regions of 58 million Ghana cedis. But now we are looking at an amount in the regions of 78 million Ghana cedis. 78 million?
Yes. So that's an additional 20 million cedis.
Upon further investigations, because Attorney General says that at the time that the Iyoko had arrested him and put him in the coolest, as you would want us to describe the situation, the money was around the 58 million, but now we're dealing with 78 million Ghana cedis. But therefore, let's understand how the Attorney General presents the situation, or what is alleged to have happened in that particular company. So now this 78 million Ghana cedis was supposed to be money that was supposed to be paid to people who supply food. Now, what we are told by the Attorney General is that there are some companies, in fact, one company which was created, and that company has links to the former CEO of the Buffer Stock Company and his wife. Right. So that when that money was paid into the account of that company, the said company then started transferring the money into other accounts. And those accounts show that, or are linked to companies that are owned by the former CEO, or in some instances co-owned by the CEO and his wife, right, or by his wife. So that's just the general picture of it. Money paid into a third-party company. That third-party company now begins to pay the money into accounts that are linked to companies owned by the former CEO of the Buffer Stock Company and his wife, or in some instances, companies owned by him or him and his wife.
Right. But Dennis, does this modus operandi of this alleged syndicate remind you of something? Because it appears that this modus is the same that is alleged to have been employed in the Dubois case, and then also the Gift Your Worry Mensa case. You had this, Gift Your Worry Mensa had this Blocks of Life. It's alleged to have had this Blocks of Life company. They paid money in there. And then this Company Dubois one as well. They had that BNC as well that they had. So
you are right. The template looks the same. And that's how come when you look at the instances where
spouses were all involved, allegedly.
Yes, and okay, at least in the circumstances that in the cases that you have mentioned, the 3 cases, you have the spouses that are involved. But the point I was making is that, and that's how come that when you look at the charges that are either yet to be preferred in this instance or the charges that have been preferred against those who are before the courts now, you find the element of money laundering. Because as the allegation is that the money keeps moving from one source to the other, the intention is to conceal the money.
Right.
And such a description fits into the description of the offense of money laundering. It doesn't just end there. The Attorney General also said that even when those monies were transferred to these accounts that are linked to the former CEO of the buffer stock and the wife, then there were payments. That's when they started acquiring properties, real estate properties. And they were able to trace that it was from the proceeds of such an activity that they were used to procure those properties. We'll begin to look at those properties. But essentially, that's what the Attorney General has been saying, and that's the main reason for which he's bringing the case against these persons. He described this as a rambling in the jungle, and he explains why. Because we have carried stories of the National Buffer Stock Company where suppliers complained or lamented that they were not being paid for their supplies. We've even had instances where they had to go and pick it there.
Yeah, there are a number of old women.
Yes, so the analogy of the Attorney General is that, I mean, we had kids who did not have, because these were suppliers of the school feeding program. So it meant that if the suppliers were not paid, the kids didn't also have food to eat when they were supposed to be entitled to such.
At some point, a number of senior high schools were complaining of that.
That's the context within which that description came into the picture. But after, let's begin to look at the picture, some of the properties that the Attorney General put there, allegedly being acquired from proceeds of crime. Let's start from here. So the first property that allegedly has been acquired by the former CEO of the buffer stock and the wife is a 5-bedroom house at Chain Homes. Chain Homes, that's Airport Hills, I guess.
Yes, that's Airport Hills.
And that costs an excess of $1.6 million US. The description is that a chunk of this money was paid in cash.
Solid cash.
Cash, yes. Just some $230,000 was paid, but the rest of it was paid in cash. And the Attorney General says that alone in itself raises suspicion of money laundering. The next property is a 3-bedroom house at Cantonments that costs $600,000. Then there are plots of land at Airport Development that cost $750,000. There's a 17-bedroom boutique hotel at Gumani in Tamale that costs some in excess of 4.1 million Ghana cedis. It continues. There's a 4-bedroom bungalow situated at Jawulu in Accra that also costs some 4.1 in excess of that million Ghana cedis. There are also a purchase of a 0.32 acre land. It's a government land. This was actually the price at which a third party bought from government. But this land was sold to these in excess of 2 million Ghana cedis.
I see.
Yes.
So this is a government land purchase.
Yes. And
then sold to them. It's
even
alleged to have bought.
That land itself comes with its own problems because there's a web of interconnections. Somebody fronting for somebody, allegedly getting the land from government, then selling it to another person. There's an instruction to the land, from the person to the Lands Commission to issue the documents in the name of
this particular
person, and later there was a change in name from the man himself to his wife. So that in itself is a whole, it's a web in itself, like I described earlier.
True.
But let's look at the companies too in question that were allegedly used to propagate this. So you see, Sotini Enterprise. No, not this slide. Okay, let's stay with this one.
All right.
This is the third party company,
right,
which received the money and makes the transfers to the other persons, including himself, his companies, or the wife's companies. So in one of the banks, the Attorney General or Iyoko, those who did the investigation, were able to establish that these are some of the transactions. That on a certain period, this Sotini Enterprise sends an amount of over 16 million Ghana cedis into the account of Hanan Abdul Wahab. The same Sotini Enterprise sent an excess of 23.9 million Ghana cedis into Al Kani Enterprise. This company, we are told, is owned by Wahab and the wife. There's also a transfer from this Sotini company to Fahausa Ventures, a company that is owned by them. Also a transfer to Chain Homes, and this is part of that transaction that we pointed out to, the purchase of the house of the $1.6 million.
I see.
So these are just excerpts of what the Attorney General has been talking about. And he eventually says that on the totality of it, in the coming days, this is what he will do.
He says by Friday, no?
Yes.
These are the charges.
He intends to prefer against them. In fact, he says that the draft charge sheet is ready. They're waiting for Friday to put them before courts. Stealing, conspiracy to steal, willfully causing financial loss to the states, using public office for profit, obtaining public property by false statements, and then money laundering.
Wow.
So we look forward to seeing how the coming days are going to look like. He says it's going to be on Friday.
And all things being equal, that's a day to wait. And let's recall exactly what the attorney, and you pull up the original, because Abdul Wahab Hanan has been responding to these the allegations or the details of the Attorney General's press conference earlier today. He put something on his Facebook page. Dennis will recall exactly what he's saying. But let's recall exactly what the Attorney General said on this buffer stock company matter, and then we'll tell you the companies that were established, because Dennis has just showed you the list of the companies that were used to, as it were, do the transfer of the money. But it appears that there's also a separate list of companies that were involved in all this web that we're talking about, that the Attorney General put earlier today. Take a look.
2017 and 2024, Mr. Abdul Wahab, in concert with Richard Samasanti and Bismarck Owusu-Boakye, orchestrated a transfer of 78,269,084 Ghana cedis and 4 pesos from the bank accounts of Buffer Stock Company to a private company linked to Hanan Abdul Wahab, his wife, and staff of Buffer Stock at Republic Bank and EcoBank. We have decided to charge Mr. Hanan Abdul Wahab and his wife, Faiza Seydou Wuni, with stealing, conspiracy to steal, causing financial loss to the state, using public office for profit, obtaining public property by false statements, and money laundering. We have frozen all the assets of Hanan that I have listed, including a 10 million Ghana cedis fixed deposit account at Republic Bank, Labone branch. That is the liquid assets. They also, had a lot of bags. I didn't want to list them. The wife has over 61 luxury bags. All right, name them. He himself was buying watches, some costing as much as 1.5 million Ghana cedis and so on. We have taken note of all of them, and so we've done the freezing, including those of the vehicle.
So that's just a a picture of the two of the many vehicles that the Attorney General talks about that ended it there. But you hear the Attorney General, then he mentions the over 61 luxury bags and the watches costing 1.5 million cedis each. I don't think my watch costs that much. But then again,
he said one of the watches actually cost more than 1 million Ghana cedis.
Yes.
Yes, and then there are about 61 luxury bags.
But that's not listed in the
No. We don't have that here.
Okay.
For now.
But
that in itself appears to be a lifestyle audit already.
Absolutely.
Yes. But of course, when you explore the Anti-Money Laundering Act, you'd find that once you come under investigation for money laundering, it is allowed that some of those things are explored. So it's not surprising to see the Attorney General go into that sphere of the investigation and trying to look into that side of things.
What's the list we see behind you?
So these are the companies that allegedly are involved in this whole transaction. Most of them owned by the former boss and his wife. That's Wahab and his wife.
Okay.
Alkanai Enterprise, Aludiba Enterprise, Energy Partners Limited. So this company, Energy Partners Limited, according to the Attorney General, is one that is owned by the head of corporate affairs together with Wahab.
I think he mentioned the names, yes.
Yes.
Emmanuel.
Farhauser Ventures, I just hope I got that right. Then there's Farhauser Company Limited. There's Aludiba Foundation and Sotini Enterprise. So this was the one that's owned by the third party. So usually the money is here and then the transfers are made to all these companies. But Alfred, let's listen to, soon after the Attorney General had made his presentation.
Yes.
Wahab took to his Facebook page to respond to what the Attorney General had been saying. So he says that my attention has been drawn to a recent statement made by the Honorable Attorney General during a press engagement in which my name was mentioned in connection with allegations of corruption. He continues to say, I wish to state respectfully that these claims are untrue and do not reflect the facts of the matter. I have no involvement in the issues being referred to, and I find the comments deeply unfortunate. I have asked my legal representatives to review the situation and advise on the appropriate steps to protect my reputation. I look forward to the opportunity to present my side and have my day in court, where I am confident that the truth will be clear. Abdul Wahab Hanan Aludiba. He continues to say, I remain faithfully committed to the principles of honesty, transparency, and integrity that have guided my work throughout my career. So this is the response from Abdul Wahab in respect of the Attorney General's press conference, alleging that he